I'm on the campus of WKU right now on South Lawn, and it looks a little bit different than a typical game day. You can see behind me there's a huge stage, some gates set up, and that's because DJ Diesel, aka Shaquille O'Neal, will be here to kick off the football game tonight starting at 5 p.m. with a concert. We need a packed house tonight at Houchin Stadium because we have an important conference game against UAB, but we're going to have a little fun with Shaq first. I'm currently on the campus of Western Kentucky University right behind Cherry Hall. This morning at 10:25 a.m., all students received a text message alert from the university saying that there was a potential explosive device found outside Cherry Hall. Students were ordered to evacuate the building. Then about a half hour later, 6 other buildings around Cherry Hall were also evacuated. You can see behind me right now, this is a construction site. The explosive device is thought to be construction related. Yes, I'm here at the BG ballpark for the Survivor casting call. As you can see, there are dozens of people already lined up for the casting call that takes place later today at 3 p.m. We have people from all over the country here in Bowling Green, Illinois, Connecticut, even Alaska to try out for their shot to get on Survivor. This house was built in 1812 by Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon, who was a member of the U.S. Marine Corps. That's over 200 years ago. He was the first American to plant a U.S. flag on foreign soil after winning a battle in 1805. Now the O'Bannon House Foundation has chosen to restore and preserve this house so people in South Central Kentucky and also around the country can come learn about American history. Coming up next, one of America's favorite toys. Hot Wheels are racing into the Corvette Museum. Details are on the way. Don't want you to drive today, but if you do have to drive, please take it slow. There's been multiple reports of vehicles sliding off the roadways already, some collisions as well. But if you are, hanging out in the snow today like I am, you can catch it on your tongue. You can probably make a snowball with it. Maybe even, make a snow angel if you're out with all your kids today. I am here at the Hot Rod Stadium, and let me just tell you, Turbo is nowhere in sight for Feline Frenzy Night. That's right, the cats are taking over the ballpark. Back again at the Soki Fair, we moved under a carnival game for right now because the rain picked up a little bit, but that doesn't mean the fair's closing down anytime soon. It's Lexi Schweinert here, and one of the 8 voting locations here in Warren County. We're at Living Hope Baptist Church. Some other locations are Ephraim White Park, Michael O. Buchanan Park, and a full list of those places to vote are listed on our website. As you can see behind me, kids are hopping on their bikes, strapping on their helmets, and trying out this safety course. It is so important for our kids to stay safe while biking because kids ages 5 to 14 end up in the emergency room for bike accidents more than any other sport. Good evening, Morgan. I am down here at Circus Square Park for the first concerts in the park of the summer. They go on every single Friday until August, and we have a fun crowd here tonight, if you can't tell. Closing arguments have begun in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. That is right, the Clear the Shelters this weekend is happening at the Bowling Green, Warren County, Logan County, and Butler County Humane Societies. It only happens once a year, but changes the lives of dozens of animals. And a New Jersey toddler isn't even 2 years old yet, and he's already become famous as a champion shopper. As CNN's Jeannie Mose reports, his parents were dumbfounded when box after box began arriving on their doorstep. Thank you, Diane. Cruising is set to officially relaunch in the U.S. when the Celebrity Edge departs from Fort Lauderdale, Florida this Saturday. 2021 could be on pace to be America's deadliest year of gun violence in the last 2 decades. Now take a look at this. Cherry Hall on Western Kentucky University's campus is lighting up to show support for Ukraine. We're halfway through the week and the temperatures continue to drop. Darius, I was freezing this morning. I was wishing and dreaming that my car had a remote start to warm up because I was sitting in my car shivering. And with the 4th of July less than a week away, you may already be planning those fireworks celebrations with your friends and family. But the question is, can you still set off fireworks like this legally? Well, I know it's coffee, I think. It smells like chocolatey coffee sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, half of them, 50%. Right. And he said you can do this old factory retraining at home. It might not look like much now, but a $2 billion investment in the Kentucky Trans Park in our community is about to change that. Take a look at everything you can see along the street right now. There is just debris, there's wood, plastic, glass, right on the sidewalk of the business. If you look behind me here, the windows Coach Rick Kelly served the Little League baseball community for over 4 decades, the team making it to the Little League World Series 3 times in the last 8 years. Former players, parents, and coaches remember the impact Kelly left on the sport.
There was one constant always with BG's Little League, and that was Rick Kelly.
Rick Kelly served the Bowling Green Little League community for over 42 years.
I think we've lost a true icon and a treasure from the baseball side of it. I really do. I don't think people in our community can fathom how big he was to that community. I think we took it for granted.
He coached generations of families. Former MLB player Paul Kilgis coached with Kelly in his adult years, but Kilgis had actually met him decades earlier as a young boy.
And I was 10 playing on the Cubs at TC Cherry for the National League. And Rick Kelly, as a 16, 17-year-old, was an umpire. I can remember sliding into home plate, and Rick called me out, which I was safe, and I never let him forget about it.
Matt Myers, now the coach of Lipscomb Baseball, coached with Kelly when his son Carson played on the team. Carson's team made it to a Little League World Series under Rick, and he now plays college baseball.
When you get to be a part of it and it builds, and now you get to hold on to 3 Little League World Series, now there's a standard set over there. Like every kid that comes into that Little League wants to be on the next team. And we got to be a part of that with him.
16-year-old Grayson Newman saw his older brother make it to the 2016 World Series on the team coached by Kelly. He later followed in his brother's footsteps, playing on Kelly's team and making it to the 2019 World Series.
How he impacted people to play the game of baseball, and the great coach he was to so many little kids, and especially at age 12. You don't see that good of a coach most times.
Jeff Goodnight also coached with Kelly. Jeff tragically lost his son Mason Goodnight when he was just 11 years old, his death rocking the Little League community. Mason had dreamed of playing for Kelly one day.
He's like, yeah, Dad, that's Coach Kelly. He's watched me play. I'm like, yes, I know.
Jeff thinks Mason's dream has finally come true.
I think Mason and Rick are playing the greatest Little League game ever right now, up there. I think they're having the greatest game ever. And I would love to see the look on Mason's face when Rick came in, because he would go, hey, there's Coach Kelly.
The funeral will be in Bowling Green on Thursday, with a celebration after at the place where you could always find Rick, at the baseball field at Kariakis Park.
Batman has arrived. I love Batman.
More than 500 people stood elbow to elbow, anxiously awaiting one of the world's most beloved superheroes. Children decked out in their own costumes were ready for Batman and the Batmobile to appear on Main Street.
He fights bad guys. I have a lot of his toys and I like him. I want to know how he's been on so many TV shows and how he hasn't died yet through all his careers.
Oh, come on, we can do better than that. How we doing?
Batman made the trip to Morgantown in the Batmobile Thursday to read his new book, Broken Toy Hero to Eager Ears. Batman, known as John Buckland without his costume, created the nonprofit organization Heroes for Hire and travels all over the country as a superhero.
I've been doing this for 10 years now in September.
Buckland went through some struggles in his youth. After spending 2 years in Iraq, he decided to bring Batman to the kids. He teaches the message of hope everywhere he goes and 4 life lessons to remember. Never give up, always do the right thing, help other people, and never be a bully.
Figured out that Batman's pretty much universal. Kids understand it. You know, Batman was just a kid that went through something tragic, took his pain, turned it into power. So Batman is a personality and a story that can apply to any kid's traumatic situation.
While the Batmobile looks cool and all, it serves a greater purpose too. He calls it the Hope Mobile. Inside the hood are the names and ages of children who once rode in the Batmobile before they were laid to rest.
I've actually given a lot of rides, and not all of them have passed away, and that's why I call them hope injections, because, you know, they can either capture that last smile, that ride can capture that last smile, or that ride could actually give that child more motivation to fight.
Here is the Batmobile and Batman himself.
In Morgantown, because local matters, Lexi Schweinert, WNKY News 40. This will be your 3rd term as senator if you're reelected. Previously, you've said that maybe there should be a term limit of 12 years. So what has changed your mind on this topic?
Haven't changed my mind. I'm still a co-sponsor of the constitutional amendment to limit terms. You can only have constitutional limits to limit terms if everybody does it, though.
Amendment number 2 is on the ballot, which addresses abortion, obviously a hot topic right now in society. Do you feel like your opponent is ignoring this topic?
Well, Rand Paul's trying to hide his hand now, which is interesting to see.
So I want to ask you, this is your 3rd time running for this position. What have you learned from your past 2 campaigns, and what are you doing differently in this one?
You're correct. This is my 3rd time. I tell people I'm not very smart. I keep trying.
But I want to ask you, do you feel like you're being ignored by Comer? I know you've sent some messages to him. What has the response been?
Nothing.
You voiced concerns about dark money coming into your race. Why is this an issue, or why do you think it's an issue?
Well, dark money is the biggest threat to our democracy. This postcard was mailed to everybody in the district. It looks like a postcard for my opponent. Looks just like one, but it's by a phony PAC that was formed 2 weeks before the mailing from a mail drop in Virginia from anonymous people.
There will be a new fiscal court this year with 5 new magistrates. So if you're elected to be Barron County Judge Executive, how will you lead that new team?
It is a team.
How does your background prepare you for this position?
One of the big ones is that I'm a proud native of Kentucky.
The incumbent, Will Cannon, the Judge Executive, is not running, so whoever is elected, it'll be a clean slate for the county. What does that mean to you?
Well, there's a lot of opportunity